Hello, welcome to the Hairy Knuckle episode 6.
Holy shit, we made it to 6, huh?
Yeah.
We didn't think we'd get past 2.
Barely made it past 2. Now look at us.
And
We're in a full-on sprint right now.
we released the first podcast. We had 7 views.
Yeah.
7 views.
I hope 4 of those are in India.
Well, probably most of mine. Me just opening the app and looking at the pod.
Oh, look, we did this.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
We might have had a 1 viewer in India finally.
Yeah. So I'm DJ. This is David. I should do that differently. I should say introduce you first and then me. That's the proper way to do that.
That's the respectful way.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
elder.
But clearly,
Yeah. Anyway,
there's no respect here for me.
No respect. Guy's got no respect.
I think we want to just dive right into this. We want to talk about TechCrunch, the article on Tinder
Yeah.
and Hinge, because they're both owned by the Match Group. But the reason why we want to do that is because many of you already know that we're starting an AI-driven dating app called Orra, and we'll give you an update on that a little bit later. But
it isn't necessarily the article; it's that they released their earnings.
Mm-hmm.
So Match Group released their earnings, and Tinder had 6 straight quarters of losses.
What was most incredible is they lost 9%
Mm-hmm.
in the first quarter,
Right?
or the most recent quarter 1 of this year.
Yeah. So a 9% decrease from the previous year.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, which is pretty significant.
Well, and it goes to tell you that, in the article there,
Yeah.
I think we're seeing an entire trend shift from typical swipe-based apps, because those aren't proving to be fruitful to people, and probably are. Well, we know from other studies that they're not good for your mental health.
Right. Yeah, I think the article specifically states the shifting in dating culture.
Yeah.
Which, when you and I, if you remember, when we started Orra, we had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We said that we're betting on the fact that swipe-based apps, that the whole hookup culture, and swipe-based apps are the medium of perpetuating that hookup culture. We bet that was the pendulum was going to swing the other way. We use the exact terminology. We talked about that a few times. So, and I think we're on the right track.
Well, and I think Tinder has been somewhat popular with millennials, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this Gen Z coming up is focusing more on, they don't necessarily want the hookup culture. They want long-term, meaningful relationships, which was also quite in the article.
Actually surprising, right?
Well, you would think a younger crowd would be more interested in just sex, right?
Yeah, and hooking up.
Yeah.
But it's actually the millennials that are mostly doing that. Millennials and Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, these are people in their 30s, their mid to late 30s, that are involved in this, whereas the younger generation is actually looking for more meaningful connections. 50% of respondents, just slightly over 50% of respondents, or in the survey, were Gen Z. They were actually, the reason that they were using dating apps is to find meaningful long-term relationships.
Right.
It wasn't a hookup culture type thing, which is actually quite surprising. It's a very interesting. Gen Z fascinates me. I think they're a very interesting generation.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they'll shake out, that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are interesting.
Their political beliefs, if you look at the protests all over the universities, and Harvard and UC Berkeley.
I mean, do we even know what percentage of the population is Gen Z in those protests?
They're getting.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah, they should be primarily that group, right?
Yeah, they're not going to be in their late 30s going to university. It's typically, mid 20s to early 30s.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting generation. So we actually, in the beginning, we thought that initially our largest user base was going to be millennials. They were going to be women in the late 20s, early 30s, and men in their 30s that were going to be the primary people using our app, because they were the ones looking for those long-term meaningful relationships, whereas Gen Z was just experimenting and doing their TikTok dances, and this frivolous TikTok generation is what we thought. But it looks like it's actually going to be Gen Z, which is interesting.
Well, it could be. Well, I mean, we don't know until the end of the day. But my money's now on Gen Zers.
Right.
Yeah.
So that story is actually, it goes to show that the pendulum actually is swinging and our culture is shifting. So the degenerate fucking business match group, which is a bunch of degenerates, right? We talked about this last time.
Yeah.
A bunch of degenerates. They own Hinge, they own Tinder. Bumble is, she was a chick that I think actually from Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
She spun off. I think there was a lawsuit involved. There always is a lawsuit, and she actually was an exec at Tinder, and then her degenerate ass went over to Bumble, and she's creating more degeneracy there. So they're spreading degeneracy as much as they possibly can, and that degenerate company now is.
I mean, that's a pretty strong word, but I think I know what you're talking about.
It's a degenerate culture, DJ. There's no other way to describe it. They're degenerates. It's a degenerate swipe-based apps, like we were saying. If we were pornographers, and we were tasked with creating a dating app, we would create Tinder.
Yeah,
that's literally what we'd create. There couldn't be a more degenerate way of objectifying
people,
a digital dating system, other than the frivolous action of swiping, not responding, posting, half nude pictures. It's a degenerate culture, and I think it needs to come to an end. And I think we're an alternative, right? We are the alternative.
Well, I think the Gen Zers are seeing that, and they don't want any part of it.
No.
And this article that we were reading was also touching on that the CEO thinks that the price point for Tinder is so high, and that's why the decrease in revenue. And it's just like, I think they're totally missing that the culture is changing. People don't want that shit anymore. They actually want to move to something more meaningful and real connection. They don't want a hot or not type app anymore.
Yeah. But also in the article, they talk about Hinge, and they're saying that Hinge has seen a sizable revenue spike in the past 6 years. So,
but it doesn't make up for the loss.
No, but what it goes to show is Hinge is essentially Tinder, right? It's the same group that owns it. It's still swipe based.
Yep.
But what they've done is they're trying to, that's different branding. It's marketed differently. It's the same app.
Yeah.
But the swiping is a little bit more. You have to view their profile and go all the way down before you swipe left or right. That's literally the difference. You're looking at a few of their hobbies, pictures, maybe like an audio message. They answer some questions. Like there's like this little quiz, like not quizzes, just a questionnaire that the unique or they try to be humorous and things like that. They have that, and then at the bottom you swipe left or right. It's literally the same concept, but they're making you focus a little bit more. They're making you look at the user rather than just quickly swiping left or right on the first photo. So it's the same concept. It's the same app. It's just dressed differently. But it's still, you call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
It's still
the same. They're the vast majority of all dating apps are all that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all like swipe based.
They are.
And Orra is the one that's going to be the true outlier. We could probably talk about that most recent interview that Heard gave on Bumble and the concierge, whatever service that it's going to offer, where it has the AI concierge, and I think that misses the mark entirely too.
Yeah. Do you want to play the clip?
Yeah, let's play it.
You could share your insecurities. I just came out of a breakup. I have commitment issues. And it could help you train yourself into a better way of thinking about yourself. And then it could give you productive tips for communicating with other people. You know how I know for example, you could in the near future be talking to your AI dating concierge, and you could share your insecurities. I just came out of a breakup. I have commitment issues. And it could help you train yourself into a better way of thinking about yourself. And then it could give you productive tips for communicating with other people. If you want to get really out there, there is a world where your dating concierge could go and date for you with other dating concierge. No, truly.
That is nuts.
All of San Francisco for you. Say, these are the 3 people you really ought to meet. For example,
we're back. So that clip, there's so much to unpack there. There's that the degenerate lady we were talking about, CEO of Bumble, spreading more degeneracy, this time in the form of AI.
Yeah.
So let's break down what they're actually saying.
I mean, it's kind of like Matrixy. You don't even like the movie Matrix.
It's
where you're not even actually you're not like actually interacting with a human being.
Yeah. No, it's So she's saying there's going to be AI is going to focus on helping people with their insecurities. And how they're going to do that is the AI is going to communicate. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where the AI is going to communicate with other AI. You're not going to actually have the conversations. It's going to try to figure out by having its own conversations with another AI.
I don't know how that.
What type of person you're like that's most compatible for you.
Well, let's stop there for a minute. How does that actually? I don't know of any other way to face your insecurities than you face them head on. Like using an AI to do that, you're just hiding behind a bush.
And then,
you're not actually growing as a human
exactly.
being. You're just here. Let me put my AI in front of you instead of me being a human being and like overcoming that issue. Like,
is her name Whitney? Is that her name?
True. I don't know.
Well, you know what, Whitney? You know what else you could do?
Yeah, Whitney.
How about actually encouraging people to have real conversations with one another? How about that? How about figuring out how to actually connect people that are highly compatible and creating an environment that AI actually improves where these people can have deep conversations, they can get to know one another, and then the compatibility is already there. How about that? Instead of creating a digital world where AI is your dating concierge that helps with your insecurities and just creates this artificial world that's not even real to try and fool you into thinking that the person you're with is the AI has somehow figured out that you guys are compatible.
Well, most of these apps are designed to keep you on the app as long as possible instead of getting you off as quickly as possible.
And that's what they're doing.
And they are. I mean, they've had people on like Tinder for a decade and they come out miserable. They're burnt out. They don't care about that anymore.
Right.
They want to move on with their lives. They want to be, and it's like a time sink. Like, what was the average time spent on Tinder? An hour a day?
An hour a day.
Like, who the hell has time for an hour a day?
Yeah. And that's an hour of day of not chatting, right?
Oh, it's not. There's not no interactions. No. You're devaluing. Like, the whole basis of a swipe app is you're reducing everybody down to their base, whatever, their appearance, instead of like allowing it to like.
Yeah.
I mean, appearance is important. You need to be like sexually attracted to the person you want to date, of course. But like if you're presented with thousands of profiles and you're just going for the hottest one, you're never going to find somebody.
But that hottest one it's just literally like it's softcore porn.
It is. It's like a form of porn. Yeah,
you're looking
at it. That.
Yeah, it's softcore porn. You're looking at these people that you think are very attractive,
girls in bikinis or whatever. Yeah, it's just.
But they're never going. Just like in you watch porn, that girl's never going to pay attention to you. Neither is this one.
They're gonna use you and move on to the next one.
Yeah,
that's what they want to do. They want to date. They want to smash. They want to move. They don't want to. They will never actually achieve true connection. Never.
No, I mean that's why people are. It's psychologically you have to think about that, right?
It's really fucked up.
It's this incredible wishful thinking. So you're your guy on there that thinks that you have a chance because you have this motion and you're letting the person on the other side know that, hey, I like you, I want to meet you, I want to talk to you, and you think that you actually have a chance in this person liking you back and messaging you and wanting to be with you. No, that's just porn at that point. You don't have a chance in hell with the girl that's a 9 who's got pictures, traveling all over the world. And all she puts there on her bio is her Instagram.
We may have to say corn or horn.
Why?
Because the algorithm for YouTube may start messing with us.
Yeah. Okay. It's softcore corn.
Corn. Yeah, some corn.
It's that's really what it is, and it pisses me off that these large companies, at this Match.com, rather than focusing AI in a different direction, their focus is, okay, how can we keep this person on the app as long as possible
and spending more
and more,
a la carte,
which is a business, right?
Yeah, no, they should be making money. I agree, but they've gone to an extreme. They don't really care.
No, they don't care.
They don't care about actually connecting people that want to be together,
right.
like people that want to actually develop a true, meaningful, and deep relationship.
Yeah.
They want to keep you on the app as long as possible, extract as much money out of you as possible, and keep you coming back for more.
Exactly. And so now they're shifting to, because the sentiment is shifting with dating, they're shifting from Tinder to Hinge.
Yeah.
And all Hinge really is, it's
It's
Tinder,
an extension of Tinder.
It's Tinder Light.
Yeah.
That's all it is Tinder Light. Just dressed a little bit differently. Like, come on, guys. Like, dating needs a dramatic shift. It needs this cataclysmic change in direction.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of the swipe-based feature. It needs to be something entirely different. And I think we're doing that, right?
Yeah.
Rather than swipe-based, we developed something called flash bonding.
Yeah.
Right? It's a system of answering 4 short questions once a day that are highly tuned to values.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The AI is learning your values. They're in categories of family, and fitness, and finance, and fortitude.
Yep.
The algorithm is trying to learn what kind of values do you hold as a person, and then align you closer and closer and closer the more you use the app to another person that has very similar values.
Mm-hmm.
Because the studies show that those are the type of people that make that's what makes for compatibility.
Yeah.
That's
You're aligned in those 4 things.
Not the fact that you're an Aquarius and he's a Virgo and
Oh, Jesus.
the signs have aligned, and I like to hike and you like to hike and you like to golf, and no. Those
similar interests are not a good indicator of a long-term relationship.
So an app that understands masculine, feminine dynamics, that takes into consideration research, that has evidence via surveys, that looks at how dating, that like how respondents in dating apps, like looking at their questionnaires and looking at the stats and data there, right, from the history. That's what you need to consider to develop an app if you actually want to help people and you want to shift dating into something different than the degeneracy. I know you hate that word, but
no, I mean, I think it's a strong word to call them complete degenerates. I don't think they're completely degenerates, but I think the app is.
If pornographers were tasked with creating,
I agree with that.
Creating absolutely. A digital dating app, they would create Tinder. I'm sorry. So but
I think the app is a form. It is degenerate. Those apps are.
It is.
They're not. And there's so many of them out there. They're all doing the same damn thing. You're like, where you're not actually helping anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No, using the whole using social media is the core for other industries, I think, is just not a good idea. Like using, for example, look at LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with. That has a social media basis, right? It's like a Facebook for jobs.
Yeah.
Whereas Tinder is like the social media for dating, right?
Yeah.
Using social media as the basis for any sort of technology when it's a social technology is, I think, terrible idea.
The studies are coming in almost probably every day now, that how social media has impacted negatively impacted people in long-term use.
And social media for pornography is OnlyFans, right? That's the other basis.
Yeah, that's
the other basis. So all of these use their basis of social media, which might have been quite possibly one of the worst it could have been the best, but the way it's gone is one of the worst technologies and paths forward that we've ever gone from a technological standpoint. I think, at least, it could have been great. We could have been there are some good things about it, right?
Yeah.
News. There's reports coming in from, they're like there's wars where people on the ground can kind of show people what's going on.
Yeah.
They can spread awareness, and that aspect is good, but that's a very small percentage of.
Oh yeah, and now like fake news and all that, and now it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So, I at this TechCrunch article, I loved like the first comment on that. The app was, those apps are used primarily to extract money, basically, is what he was saying. The guy.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because so many users. How many users? Like 10 million active paying users on Tinder.
10 million. That's a lot.
Fucking shit ton.
And that's not their peak. That's just paying users.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual users is much, much, much higher, because paying users is typically 3 to 5%.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 3 to 5% of.
And just think 65% of those are already in a fucking relationship on Tinder.
Yeah, that's true.
That is crazy. That was.
That's another thing that's going along in this world, and I've encountered a few just going out and going to the bars and meeting people and speaking with them. There is a significant amount of people that I met that admit at some point in having the conversation that they're married that they're either polyamorous or they're in an open marriage.
Yeah, well,
I'm shocked.
the woman at the bar that came up to me, and then like she's like married and has 6 kids, and I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
yeah,
It's crazy. Why is that so prevalent right now?
it's weird. There's something. I think it's social media. I think it's like, I think we're living in an unprecedented times. I don't know if you were to look at 40 years ago in the 80s, you know, what quantity of polyamorous relationships were existed at that time versus today. I'm almost willing to bet it's grown multiple times fold.
Oh, it has, yeah.
I mean, not that that didn't occur back in the 80s. I'm sure it did at some level, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like now it's like socially acceptable. I'm like, the fuck, this is not a socially acceptable.
No, I think we need to have guests like that on. I really want to know. I think it's there's a narrative out there, right? There's a narrative of excitement, of novelty, of meeting people, where they're really encouraging people to be promiscuous, like as you can see in the apps.
Yeah.
And I think people that are, the narrative doesn't really support strong, traditional, committed relationships. It's not really something that's talked about, and it's not. You don't see it in films. You don't see it in movies. You don't see it. You don't hear about it being expressed in songs,
Yeah.
right? In sitcoms, and then dating apps and articles. You look at the award shows, and there's these degenerates on there like Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? Like there people that have those types of values and those types of relationships. It's not really it's not cherished in our current society, and the culture doesn't really value that right now. And so people that are in these relationships, they still want to stay in the relationships for whatever reason, but they want that excitement. They want to be part of that narrative, and maybe polyamory is that.
How, I don't know how a relationship can function long term. I don't think, like, once a couple starts engaging in polyamorous relationships, I think the
It's already dead.
I think you're dead. Yeah, I think your relationship is over.
Yeah, the relationship is dead.
Like if a spouse comes up to you and says, "I want to open this up," it's
well,
like, well, okay, this is where we draw the line. I guess this is where we separate, because
yeah, and I had this argument with this lady, and I might have had a drink or two, but she said, I'm in an open relationship, and my man.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as she said my man, I didn't even let her finish. I was like, that's not a man.
Yeah.
That's not a man.
No, because
a man, just let your wife come out here, and she's out here exploring, trying to find other men. I'm sorry, but that's not a man. That he might have a penis, but I don't think that defines being a man.
Men are territorial. Men are naturally territorial.
Men start wars over.
They
will start wars over women.
Men have started wars over women. I agree with you. Like a man who allows that type of thing and doesn't draw the line and say, "Oh, then we're over." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a man has to be willing to step away from a relationship. Yeah. And I think one of the false narratives that has been told to many people growing up, especially in my generation, is like a happy wife is a happy life. Well, I learned the hard way that that's bullshit. And if a guy's trying to appease his wife so that he can have a happy life, let her open up their relationship. I'm like, it's fucking insane.
No, it's crazy, and it's so common. I was shocked at how common it is. Just meeting people. We went to another bar, and there was an entire group, like a meetup of degenerates.
Oh, like polyamorous.
It was a polyamorous meetup.
Oh shit!
I was talking to one of the guys there. It's like, I'm just here with my wife, and it's a polyamorous get together. I'm like, what the hell is that? What is a polyamorous? I was like, that's a strange way to spell whore. But I mean, I mean, that's
yeah, it's a little. I'm trying to figure that out.
But that's what's out there. Why is that so funny right now? No, but I mean, that's the world we live in, man. Yeah, the guy looked at me pretty crazy too.
I mean, that's also another subject. I don't know if we want to bring it up in this, but like slut shaming, is that? Do we?
No, we don't want to get into that. But imagine being a man. You have a
Yeah.
penis, you have 2 balls, right? You have some testosterone, hopefully. And you're sitting there and you're at a bar and you're marketing your wife to the other guys that are sitting there. Imagine being that guy. Hey, everybody, here's Darlene, happily married. We got married at the church, but I kind of want to share with y'all. Like, what in the hell is that? What are you even thinking?
Yeah.
What
I
went
could
through
never
your
share
head?
my wife. I would be like, we're done. We're done.
God bless. I mean, I wouldn't say.
I mean,
God bless.
how far does a man, like, how many mental hoops do you have to jump through to, like, because you start off at I don't know about you, but like I said, men are territorial, and I would never share my wife like that.
Yeah.
That would be fucking ridiculous.
It's a strange shift in our culture. It's a strange cultural thing that's going on right now, and a lot of it's here, and it's mostly in Western.
I don't know how you could respect her. I couldn't.
I mean, it's
like I mean, it comes down to
it's really the man. I don't think.
well, no, well,
the man's allowing it to happen.
well, I know how. I don't know how you could respect yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you went along with this, it's so bizarre to me. Like, what type of? I honestly believe if you're a man and you allow your wife to go into a polyamorous relationship, or you suggest it yourself, you don't really truly love that person.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're friends at that point. You're not.
It's degeneracy.
It's not real love.
No.
It's not commitment. It's not.
You have to think about
sacrifice. It's not any of those things that actually make
absolutely
a long-term, healthy, safe relationship.
So the masculine feminine dynamics in that relationship are non-existent. There literally is none, right? Where you're trying to balance your masculine energy to her femininity, and it's that battle back and forth, right? That doesn't exist. It just literally, it's not there. You're not being masculine in any regard when you allow her to sleep around and you yourself sleep around.
Yeah.
That's completely dead. That dynamic is gone. So it's a different dynamic. It's something weird. I mean, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on polyamory and how it actually exists. You know, the men and the women that know that those people are in those types of relationships that engage in it, I think they're degenerates too. I'm just going to say that too, because you're perpetuating that. Are you not?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a sad state to be.
Yeah.
I think it's terribly sad, especially if there's family involved and you have children. Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine the kids?
Like, I'm sure that many of these people are like sheltering their kids, but it's like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how, I mean, I understand that, like, there's a whole thing with novelty, but was it Esther Perel says, you may have 4 or 5 great relationships in your life, and if you're lucky, it's with the same person.
Yeah, I think they have apps for it too. I think.
Really?
For polyamorous, they have apps for it.
Yeah, they're Tinder.
Well, I mean, Tinder's a big one. You could definitely meet, definitely polyamorous on there. But I think they have their own app too. Hopefully, Match.com. The degenerates are behind that as well.
I would love to interview somebody that has done that, and like the whole thought process of why they initiated that. Like,
yeah, it's interesting. What else we got?
Well, do you want to do an update on Helixer and give an update on Orra?
I'll stick to Orra. So, with Orra, we shifted. We did something different, right? The match system that we had created initially, you got to search a certain amount of times every single day. You yourself clicked the search button, and it looked for individuals that were highly compatible to you based on metrics, a bunch of metrics, questions that you ask in the beginning, and then your flash bonding answers throughout your dating journey. But what we figured out, it's a lot easier if we just give everybody's matches once a day at the same time.
Well, the system is still, that's the other thing. Like, we talked about how the average person spends about an hour a day on Tinder.
Yeah.
User,
exactly.
The average person, the average Tinder user spends about an hour on that app.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we're actually saving you time. The Orra app is operating in the background.
Right.
And it's filtering through all the people that are actually playing. It's a game.
Yeah.
You played it. It's a game. And it operates in the background, and then we give you the answer at the end of the day. So you don't have to waste your damn time dating.
No.
We're filtering through all the best profiles to give you 2 good options.
Yeah.
And you get to choose from those two good options
Yeah.
on the free side
Right.
once a day.
Yeah. And so rather than like the Bumble CEO was talking, their AI is focused on dating concierge, right? Whereas we're focusing our AI on analyzing the values-based questions and compatibility metrics to always be on the lookout, essentially, for somebody that's just even more compatible,
Right.
and to find that person and present them to you.
What
And
happens
then what we're hoping is, rather than the 50 minutes, because their system is designed for that 50 minutes of hour a day that people spend on Tinder. It's actually going through their system, how their system is designed, right? Their matching system. It's swiping through, it's super liking, it's looking at profiles. That's what the 50 minutes is. But what we want is the 50 minutes to be actually having a conversation with those people. That's how it should be spent.
Yeah.
Actually getting to know somebody. And at that point in our app, when you actually start the conversation, you don't know what the person looks like. So it's like blind date.
Yeah.
It's like
That's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, kind of like a blind date.
Now
But you know that this person's highly compatible, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's not
on multiple metrics.
It's not going to be the orcas or the shamus.
No. The system's actually operating on the background, and it's actually pairing you with somebody that you're most likely to be attracted to. Now, there's always outliers.
Yeah.
But we're talking about general rules, not the exception to the rule.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. It's really cool how this thing's I'm really excited for it to come out.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I think we'll have beta.
Yeah.
Alpha. Alpha comes first.
Yeah. No,
alpha version.
You put out a beta version and the final version, whatever. Yeah. The alpha, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully the next 2 weeks. So yeah, that's the biggest change. Other than that we've stuck with the original formula that we did, half a year ago that we came up with. So as soon as we have it, you 7 viewers will have premium. We're gonna find out who you guys are. Hopefully it's just not me opening the app 7 times and looking at the video, but you viewers, we are going to send you premium, give you guys a month free, being our first 7 viewers.
You get 7 emails to yourself.
Yeah.
David, look.
Yeah, 7 emails to myself. What else we got on the agenda today, DJ?
Well, there was something. Do you have a date you want to dissect?
Let's see. No, actually, not this week. No, I'm not.
What about rant?
I'm not involved in dating. Rants. I think I rant.
Well, I think we both ranted on. Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to talk about and rant about?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of vented on Tinder. I think it's a terrible app for.
Yeah.
I mean, most people that use Tinder are not, especially long term, they're burnt out by it.
I think what we want to do, I think for the first 50 users once we release, you know what I want to do? And I'm going to say this now online while we're live, is I want a short video of you uninstalling Tinder off your phone, uninstalling it, downloading our app, and we'll give you premium for 2 months.
I mean, we could probably do longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah. 3 months? You want to do 3 months?
Yeah, whatever. I
3
mean,
months.
Our goal is to get you off the app as quickly as possible. Like, we don't want you to be using this for 10 years like you would Tinder.
Yeah.
Like, we really want you to find somebody you like.
Yeah.
And move on with your lives.
That's what we're doing. 3 months. So 90 days, which, I think it's $50 a month is what we're doing for premium. So it's $150
somewhere in there.
If you email us at, do you want to do the support email or which email?
Yeah, I don't care which one.
Okay.
We'll put it in that. It'll be in the description.
Well, it'll be in the description.
Yeah.
You send us a short video on your phone of you uninstalling Tinder or what's the other one? Bumble or Hinge, and then installing our app. Then we'll give it 3 months.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. All right, guys. Well, give us comments what you thought about the pod.
Yeah, if you want to have any other topics of discussion you want to bring up, would like to talk, would like to entertain those and potentially talk about them.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.